Number 10.
I'm going to put Detroit in there. They've got 2 new coordinators. They lost 2 offensive linemen. The strength of their team, they get Aiden Hutchinson back. I think their division is better. This team last year, you're talking 14, 15 wins. I think it's major pullback. They are so good upstairs. They've built a really cool culture. I've always liked Jared Goff more than the rest of the media gallery. But I don't think this team wins their division. And I think losing elite coordinators, go ask Philadelphia, can get ugly fast. I have them at 10.
Number 9.
I'll put the Rams, although I think Houston is a dangerous opener with Will Anderson. The Rams left tackle just started practicing this week, and anybody spotted Matt Stafford in L.A.? I think it's a dangerous opener, but I think they have the second best coach in the league, and when Stafford has time to throw with this young defense, they'll win games. This is amazing. They played more rookies than anybody in the NFL last year, and yet were the least penalized team. They're a completely buttoned-up organization, but left tackle and quarterback is a lot of question marks, and Houston is a scary opener with their pass rush.
Number 8.
The Packers. Let me ask you, is Jordan Love good? I don't know, but I like the culture. I like the team. They were actually last year 1-5 in division, which is rare for them, so I think they'll improve. They were 10-1 against everybody else. Jordan Love starts the season slow, so that's a real thing. Joe Burrow's done the same thing. Reasons I don't know. Again, I thought they went out and got a number 1 wide receiver. The Micah trade is absolutely worth a win. I don't know if it's worth 2, but they won 11 games last year and were banged up at quarterback just out of respect for the organization and the coach. I think the Micah trade works for them. I think they win the division.
Number 7.
Commanders are good. I wonder if they're great. They have 5 primetime games. They're the oldest team in the league. Did you know that? Looked it up this morning. Older players do not like primetime games. The Chiefs are used to it, but it can be disruptive. Also, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders scored on 50% of their drives. I'm going to go with that's not going to happen again. The Deebo Samuel chess piece is really interesting, but I have him at 7.
Number 6.
I'm higher on the Seahawks than everybody else. At 5-1, they're the best bet to win a division. And here's my thing. Second year with a really bright young coach, upgrade at coordinator and quarterback. They will be more run-specific. Gray Zabel has been a big pickup. He had a great preseason. They could not run the football last year. They will be a run-first team. They'll miss some big plays with DK Metcalf, absolutely. But I got to tell you, I don't think there's a better personnel guy in the league than John Snyder. Their last 3 drafts, not a lot of misses, and I love this draft. I have the Seahawks at 6. But are they Kansas City? No, I think this is where the gap happens, the final 5 teams. Listen, Kansas City was 12-0 in one-score games. That's not going to happen. But Andy Reid and Mahomes are, the best at what they do in this sport, which is leaning offense. But the problem is that Rashee Rice, 6-game suspension. I feel like they've been bailing water at wide receiver for 3 years, and it's worked. But, let's be honest about that. Guess who was closer to his prime? Travis Kelce. So they're going to be good. They have the best defensive coordinator, the best coach, the best quarterback. The division is a handful. But I think they'll be a playoff team. But they were so good in one-score games. And I think the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers are all going to be a step better.
Number 4.
Denver. I think it's universally understood that Bo Nix is a hit and will only get better. This is a team last year that was very good, but not great in one-score games. Now, Breeze and Peyton were great in one-score games. So Bo Nix is not going to be 1-6 in one-score games. They also went out and got real players. Hufanga at safety, Greenlaw linebacker, Evan Ingram at tight end. They went and got productive veterans who will make an impact immediately. They didn't just go to the transfer portal and get rotational guys. They want and got productive stars in this league. I have Denver at 4.
Number 3.
Lamar Jackson, 7 years, won 78 games, and every game they lose is either against a playoff team or it's close. I know, they don't win in the postseason. It's a fair criticism. But I think structurally, like Kansas City, I don't see holes in the organization. Number one rushing defense, number one rushing offense. Everybody else says it's a passing league. Baltimore's like, yeah, we can do that, but I have them at 3.
Number 2.
Listen, well, they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season, just not the postseason. I like Buffalo. James Cook's got his deal signed. They got all their early draft picks. They went with defense, and that's what they should have done. Listen, I think Josh Allen is the most talented football player in the world. Size, strength, movement. I don't think there's anything quite like it. He doesn't have Mahomes as hardware, but he doesn't have Mahomes as coach. Joey Bosa, that's like under the radar. Still a good player, but the Chargers didn't want to play for 2 rush ends. So I just think they're lined up to get to a Super Bowl.
Number 1.
Best overall roster composition in the league. Don't love their head coach. But what do you want me to say? In the trenches, O-line and D-line, they nailed 2 early round corners. I think they have the most players in the NFL either in their prime or close to their prime. I can't find a hole on the team outside of I don't always love the personality of the head coach. But for a team that just blew out the Chiefs, they were kind of strangely under the radar, so I have them at number 1. And with that, Nick Wright.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right. Colin just can't help himself with Nick Sirianni, which I'll talk about that in a different video. Colin coming in hot with the new graphics now. I love it. I like it. It looked like it was like literally like he could like go out and touch it. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it feels like Colin doesn't like a lot of teams. Like it's kind of weird because he's like, I don't know about the Lions, and he's like, I don't know about the Rams, and the Packers. Like, is Jordan Love a good quarterback? And like Mike is good, but like it's only worth like a game. And the Commanders, like, they're a really old team. And then he's like, he really likes the Seahawks, and like the Chiefs, he's like, they won a lot of these close games. They're not going to keep winning these close games. They're a playoff team, but like, whatever. And then he kind of starts to build up some momentum with the Broncos, Ravens, Bills, and Eagles. But it is also funny because he's like, listen, I like the Bills. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people like the Bills. They were in the AFC Championship last year. Josh Allen is a monster. Like, yes, we know that. And it's also kind of funny to me to keep trying to like dunking on Nick Sirianni when he literally just won the Super Bowl. And you can say that, in an earlier segment, Colin said that the Eagles were like really noisy or whatever and yada, yada, yada. And then like, doesn't Nick Sirianni though get credit for, if that's true, like keeping everyone together, keeping everyone focused, keeping everyone disciplined, keeping everyone ready to go week after week after week, like, doesn't he deserve some credit for that? How about the fact that because he's like, the Eagles caught people by surprise and rolled the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like, well, doesn't Nick Sirianni get some credit for that too? No? Okay. So just kind of interesting to me. But, I mean, it's tough right now. Because if I'm being honest, if I'm really being honest with myself, this is not now the rankings that I have, okay? I want to be very clear. But the teams that I have the most confidence in, which again, this is hardly going to be groundbreaking here, it's going to be the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. Those are the 4 teams that I'm like, if you had to choose right now, who are the top 4 teams? No ifs, ands, or buts, no questions. Don't try to, you can't figure out, what about injuries and this, blah, blah, blah. No, you have to just pick. There's less question marks about those teams. The Commanders, the Broncos, 2 teams that I absolutely positively believe in. 100%. And I'm so excited to see what they do year 2 with Bo Nix and Jane Daniels. But technically, there is a question mark. What will those quarterbacks look like in year 2? Right? Like there's more of a question mark there. How can Cliff Kingsbury elevate Jane Daniels to this next level? Same thing with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Right? Will Dan Quinn get that defense going? Now, to be fair, there's technically question marks about every single team, right? But you just kind of have to don't get too hung up on the semantics here. And again, be very clear, I wholeheartedly believe in the Commanders and the Broncos. I'm incredibly high on them. But with a degree of confidence, if you were really forced to make a decision right now, it's just like the safer move is going to be the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. And so that's why it's like I got them in the one category. And then I'm going to have the Commanders, the Broncos, the Pack. I mean, it's pretty much going to be the rest of the bunch. That I'm like, okay, for me, I guess I would put Broncos then and Commanders, Broncos and Commanders, kind of in their kind of maybe their own tier. You could maybe flirt with adding in the Packers there as well. But I still do really need to see. I need to see Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur connected. I need to feel that Jordan Love is situated, because he did get surgery on his thumb that did disrupt the final couple weeks or so of practice leading into the season. Those things do matter to me. And again, it's not a doubt that I have that they'll be able to be great or be successful, because I also wholeheartedly believe in the Packers, but I need to see them. I need to see them elevate and be significantly better. And I'm going to be doing a Packers video today and post it. That Colin finally shared his thoughts on the Micah Parsons trade. And again, I'm incredibly high on the Packers and Jordan Love, but like I don't have problems. I don't have a problem saying I just need to wait and see a little bit, right? Like I can wholeheartedly believe in a team and still admit that there's question marks, or that like I want to wait a few weeks, or like I'm never trying to constantly just be like, I believe that the Packers are going to be great, so therefore I'm just going to automatically put them at 2 or 3. Therefore, when they are great, I could be like, oh, I told you in August I said that they were going to be great. Like sometimes that's fun, sometimes I could care less about it. And when I do that and I get it right, better believe I'll point it out. But like, I don't feel the need to try to have to do that every single time. I'd rather be accurate in the discussion itself. And it's the same thing with the Lions. Like, I do think that the Lions can take a step back, and I'm excited to see what they look like. And a lot of Lions fans have kind of gotten mad at my take with the coordinators, and they're like, well, why are you using the Eagles? They're like, the Eagles had 2 new coordinators and they won a Super Bowl. And it's like, they had 2 incredibly established coordinators. First off, Fangio, their defensive coordinator, if you don't know who he is, I don't know what to tell you. But the guy has been involved in football since like the 1920s, man. I mean, like, he has been around for so long, and his fingerprints throughout the NFL are everywhere. Everywhere. That is not the same thing as hiring a new defensive coordinator. Fangio is insanely respected and insanely accomplished, with a resume that would just crush 99.9999999% of anyone in football, quite frankly. So that's a bad comparison just with Fangio alone. Kellen Moore had been successful for years, has been a successful play caller for years, for multiple teams. That he was not a new play caller. This was not new to him. Like, those things matter when you're bringing in new coaches, when you're saying new coordinating hires. The better example is using the Eagles of 23, when they did get some, 2 coordinators who were not as experienced, who did not have the resume, who were not experienced play callers. Those things matter, and things took a turn. And I'm not saying that for the Lions that things are going to take a turn and they're going to be bad, but like, it makes sense that there's going to be some question marks around them. And I think that's totally fair. And when I have questions in coaching, I will always, even if I think, like, for instance, I think the Lions clearly have a better roster than the Rams, but I trust the continuity of coaching there. But at the same time, I don't know what's going on with Stafford. So who knows if Stafford's even going to make it throughout the entire season, honestly. But, at the end of the day, for me, looking at some of these rankings right now, going into, like, we literally have a football game on Thursday and Friday. I believe it's Friday, right? And then Sunday. I just can't get there as much right now. I really can't, because it's just like, we're about to find out so much information week 1. Let's go. And so it's just it's hard for me to look at a list like this and only care so much. Like, I'm dreading the idea is because I'm doing this, obviously, depending on when you're watching this, I'm doing it before First Things First show airs, and I'm like, okay, it's Tuesday. Is Nick gonna do like his mountain today? I'm just like, it just doesn't hit for me right now. It really doesn't, because it's like we're so close now. It's funny. It really is kind of like the definition of it's like the darkest before the dawn or whatever. Like, for me, it's just like we're right about to have real football conversations now. We're finally about to have real games. Even the beginning of these college games, like, all it did was make me think of like we're just so close to the NFL, and we're at the peak of just about to hit there. And because of that, a lot of this other sports talk right now, I'm like, I was just talking about that in the comment section. It's just like, I just don't care. It's just, we were having some sort of conversation about like Jalen Hurts and this and that, and I'm just like, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And so even having to rehash what happened last season, I'm like, it's just like we're right at that peak of like the maximal intersection of just like, I don't care about these other conversations right now. I could do it in March and April and May and June, July. Like, you have to, right? We all love to talk football. We all love to talk sports. And so you just, you can do it, and I can have a ton of fun with it. And I'm doing the random deep dives and hypotheticals and still rehashing last season. Like, I still very much love that. But for me, right when we're about to have real football games, it's just like, I'm like, it just doesn't hit for me. That's just me personally. Maybe it does for you all, but for me personally, it doesn't. Especially, like I said, we have a game in 2 days. In 2 days, Eagles versus Cowboys, and trying to figure out now where the Rams and the Packers rank. It just doesn't mean something to. It just doesn't mean much to me personally. And Colin, I think, did his herd hierarchy like a couple weeks ago or last week, whatever it was. And like, the only thing that really changed was the Micah trade. So outside of that, like, what else has really changed? And that's why it's the same thing. I don't know if Nick is going to do his mountain and whatnot, and do his own tiers on Wednesday. It's just like, what has changed? Like, nothing has fundamentally changed over these last couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. So yeah, I'll end up talking about this more specifically for each individual team, because Colin did say some interesting things about some of these individual teams, like the Commanders, like the Packers, the Broncos, and whatnot. Eagles, Bills, and Ravens is all pretty straightforward there, but still probably make separate videos for that and kind of post them throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know what you do with a list like this, essentially minutes before the beginning of the season, so it's a little bit harder for me to I don't know, make sense of it all, especially because, and this will be my last comment, I feel as though we've said now, as I was talking about the peak of like right when we're about to actually have real games, we've said everything we possibly could about these teams based off of last season and this offseason, with limited information as to how things are going to look, like how Debo's going to look, how is Jaden going to look, how is Bo going to look. Like, we've maximized all we could from last season, and now all the other projections and things that we kind of just make up in our head. I think Bo Nix is going to be better in year 2. Like, I do believe that, but like, a lot of it is just kind of made up, like, you're just like, like, I'm not actually in the room with him. I'm not actually having conversation with him. I don't think there's going to be a sophomore slump with Jane Daniels. It's like, okay, like, honestly, like, those takes end up just really being kind of just made up, no matter who you are, honestly, no matter whether you're Tom Brady watching the film or whether you're just me sitting here. Like, it's just, eventually you're just kind of like, this is just kind of how I feel, and we just kind of have to wait and see. And we've maximized that. We've shared every take, every conversation with regards to that. It's a new year, new season. We're in September. We finally have made it. So that's where I personally am at right now. So, but those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Colin Cowherd's herd hierarchy and his fancy new graphics and his new setup in general, his new set. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.